Okay, I'm recording. Cool. Okay, so please pay attention. So we're going to be talking about measurement. So on Friday, we talked about measurement with our hands and like, the length of our arm span. Well, today we're going to do measurement with real rulers. All right. So why do we learn to measure? It's a valuable skill. We can use it for our job, our hobbies, everyday life, right? If you go into the big one is construction, right? You're going to measure a lot of construction, but a lot of jobs out there require measurement. You might not realize that you do, but I went to the dentist the other day and he had a measure. So, we use it all around us. Some of us take it for granted. Okay, so there are two types of measurement systems out there. The standard customary way, which is what we're used to. It's inches, yards, feet, miles. That's the customary way. Then there's the metric way, which uses centimeters, millimeters, meters, kilometers. So everyone in the world uses the metric system, except the United States. The United States is the only country in the world that uses a standardized system. By the end of the period, you'll decide which one's easier or better to use, the standard way or the metric way. So the first part of the lesson is I'm going to show you how to use a ruler. Now, we're going to be using rulers for like the next 3 weeks. And on Friday, if you don't have a ruler, I will provide you with the ruler. But today we're going to be learning it via the PowerPoint way. So the pink shows you 1 inch of a ruler, right? It goes across from this side all the way to this side is 1 inch, right? So it's measured in holes, inches, but then it could also be measured in fractions. So this is where it gets complicated. Some rulers are divided into halves, so the denominator would be 2. So if I were to have give like a second grader a ruler, maybe I would give them a ruler that just has halves on it, like super easy. Then maybe if I was teaching someone in like 5th grade, I would give them a ruler with fours. So the denominator changes into fourth. So these green sections are into fourth. So this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, right? And 2/4 is equal to 1/2, right? So our denominator is fourths. Maybe if I was teaching this to a 7th or 6th grader, I would give them a ruler with eighths. That means that this section, the yellow section, is divided into eighths. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and then 8/8, right? So that's divided into eighths. And if I was teaching 8th graders, oh wait, I might divide my ruler into 16 little lines. 16 little lines are these lines: 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7. Wait, what am I saying? I'm sorry. 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, 7/16. Wow, I can't count today, and I'm recording myself, and this is going to be on YouTube. It's going to be for everyone to see that I make mistakes. I don't know. I need a moment. Anyways, do you guys understand 1/16? If I know how to count, I would go all the way, but it's too complicated. So this is what makes our system the hardest, because the denominator keeps changing. And depending on the ruler that you have in your hands, sometimes it's divided into fourths, into eighths, or into 16ths. The rulers that we have in our lab, if you ever used the metal rulers last year, if you were in the lab using the metal rulers, or even the other ones, they were divided into 32. From 0 to 1 would be 32 little lines. So imagine another little tiny set of lines in between all of this. So if you want to measure something super small, you would be using that. All right. So these are the steps that we use to measure with a customary English ruler. So you want to make sure you know how many little tiny lines there are. So you count the spaces in 1 inch. So is your denominator going to be out of 16, out of 8, out of 4, out of 2? What is your denominator? And you do that by counting the little lines. I'll show you in a second. Then you count your whole inches. So are we beyond the 1 inch, the 2 inch? Are we at like the 5 inch mark? Count the number of spaces after the last whole number. Then this will give you your numerator. So how many little lines after will be your numerator, okay? Then simplify your fraction if necessary. Okay, so the only way to really learn this is right now if you're super paying attention. I'm going to ask you, how long is this segment? And I'll give you a clue about what's ahead. Your test next week looks just like this. I'm going to give you a ruler just like the one on your screen right now, because everybody can see in the screen, right? Yes, everyone sees the ruler screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you for confirming. You're going to have this as a test next week. You're going to see a ruler and it's going to be marked off. And your job next week is to tell me how long is this segment. So, again, the first thing you have to do is figure out how many little tiny lines there are from 0 to 1. That would be your denominator. So how many little tiny lines are there?
16.
16. Very good. So let me connect this. Nope. Okay. Let me switch over to the mouse. So first step is your denominator, right? And we just did that. So it's 16. Good. The second step is to figure out, did you go past the 1 inch? Is there a whole number involved in this problem?
Yes.
Yes. So we went over the 1. Did we go over the 2?
No.
No. So our whole number will be 1. Now the third step is to find your numerator. Now your numerator is, okay, cool. Let me change colors. So your numerator will be how many, where is this line at?
7.
So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't count from 0, we count from like the whole number over. So now there's 7 little tiny lines here. That will give you your numerator. Let's switch back to mouse. So this measurement, so if you're taking your test next week, you would be typing in the answer 1 7/16. So this measures 1 7/16. Are there any questions with this right now? Okay. Oh, and then your last step is to simplify if needed. Okay, let me clear. Okay, so let's practice, okay? Because the only way we're going to really know how to do this is practicing. So let's look at letter A. Well, first off, what is our denominator to begin with without simplifying? So just double check how many little tiny sections are there from 0 to 1 inch? Is it 4, 2, 8, 16, 32? What is it?
4.
16.
4.
16. So it is from, remember, it is from 0, this is a 0, to 1. How many little tiny lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? So that means that our denominator will be 16, right? Because sometimes your denominator is a different number. Okay, so now where does the A land? How many little lines after the 0 is the A?
4.
4, right? It's 4. Thank you for participating. So it would be 4. So 4 over 16 is our first answer. But of course, now you realize your math brain is clicking and going like, wait, we can simplify that. So what is 4 over 16 simplified to?
1/4.
Yeah, so then you 1/4 of an inch. Okay? But this is like where we started. The 16th is how many total little lines. And then the 4 is, okay, how many little lines after that, right? And there's no whole number because we didn't pass the 1. All right, B. B is right before the 1, right before the 1. So what fraction would be B? Let me erase this.
15 over 16.
I agree. 15 over 16. So you could have done like some subtraction there. Like, okay, well, I know this is 16 over 16 because it's one whole. One less would be 15 over 16. Sometimes it's easier to do some subtraction. Okay, letter C. Letter C is going to have a whole number. Give you guys 30-second head start. Don't shout out anything. Letter C. Okay, so what did you guys get for letter C? Anybody want to give it a shot?
1 and 12,
1 and what was that other part? 1 and what?
12/16.
12/16. Let me write that down. 1 and 12/16. I agree with the 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12/16. Yes, I agree. And what does that simplify down to?
1 3/4.
Let's check. Yep, 1 3/4 inch. Good. We're getting the hang of it. Okay. Letter D. Give everyone a couple seconds to figure out what is letter D. Let me clear that. Letter D, just so you guys see it, is right there. This is the 2, just because it might be hard for you guys to see on your end. Literally, this is how your test looks like. Literally. Of course, the answers are all different, but it's basically this. Okay. Any answers for letter D that you would like to provide me?
2 and 6/16.
2 and what was the 2 and what?
6.
6/16.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And this is equal to 2 and
3/8.
3/8. Now, some of you are pretty good, and you guys can already tell. Do you guys see the difference in lengths of the ruler?
Yeah.
There's a reason
Yeah.
for that. It's easier for you to count that way. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's the easiest. That's the simplest way is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the lines also, like this would be the eighths line. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, right? This is the fourths length. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So they actually all mean something, but that's like a little bit more advanced. So if you can kind of handle it, do it, because it does save you time. It does save you time on simplifying. So that does say 2 and 3/8, although it's kind of hard to see. All right, letter E. Letter E is the little tiny mark after the 3. A lot of kids get this one wrong because they don't see it's the little line after the 3. After the 3. Okay, who wants to give me the answer for the last one, letter E? What is the measurement of letter E?
Can I?
What is it? Mm-hmm. Yes,
3
Ethan.
and 3 and 1/6.
Ooh,
16.
16. Yes, you can't see it. It's kind of blurry, so let me write it down. It is letter E. 3 and 1/16 inch for E. Any questions on this? Okay, let me clear off. The only way to really understand this is like trying it and doing it. Okay, so before we move on to metric, let me, how do I, let's see, hold on, pause. Okay, so let's continue with the lesson. I am recording. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the metric system. Now, everyone outside the United States uses the metric system, okay? So metric system uses millimeters, centimeters, kilometers, meters, all of that fun stuff. And it's base 10. It's all base 10, which means you can use decimals, which means it's so much easier. So there's no need to count this because it's always going to be 10. It's always going to be 10. It's not going to be like some days it's 8, some days it's 16, some days it's fourths. No, all of these will always be out of 10. It's going to be so much easier. Now, the little tiny lines are called 1 millimeter or 0.1 centimeter. Notice the relationship between millimeters and centimeters. So 1 millimeter is 0.1 centimeter. The half, the longer line, notice that all of these are the same size, and then you have one that kind of sticks out because that's your halfway mark. On the other ruler, they're all different sizes. They all mean something, but it's hard to understand at the beginning. So 5 millimeters is equal to 0.5 centimeters. 5 millimeters is 0.5 centimeters. So millimeters don't have decimals involved, and centimeters sometimes do. And then the 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeters. So again, notice the relationship between millimeters and centimeters. It's so much easier. Notice there's no fractions, there's no simplifications. It's all decimals. Okay, so here are the steps to do this. You're gonna count the whole numbers. Then you're gonna count the little tiny lines after that to give you your numerator. No, I'm sorry, your decimal. So put in correct terms, since millimeters are 1/10 of a centimeter. If you measure 7 marks after the 1, the measurement is 1.7 centimeters or 17 millimeters, okay? Just like the other ruler, once we start practicing, it kind of makes more sense, right, than reading this. It's practice makes hopefully perfection. Okay, let's practice. Okay, so we don't have to count the little tiny lines because when we are dealing with the metric system, from 0 to 1, there's 10 little tiny lines. Always, always, always. The other ruler is every single time you got to count because you never know. Okay, so switch over. So letter A. What is the measurement of letter A? Anybody?
4 millimeters.
4.
Okay, so 4 millimeters, yes, or 0.4 centimeters, right? So it's very important that, especially when you're going to type in your answers later on, that you tell me, are you using millimeters or centimeters, or are you super awesome and using both? I don't know. All right, letter B. So letter B, we go over the 1, right? Do we go over the 2? No, we're 1 less than the 2. So what would be the measurement of letter B right here? Letter B length right there. How many centimeters? Yes?
1.9 centimeters.
Yes, 1.9 centimeters or
9.
yep, 19 millimeters, okay? So again, this section is super easy compared to the last section we just did. Okay, letter C, which is right there. Letter C right there, right where the mouse is. Letter C, what is the measurement of letter C?
3.7 millimeters. I mean centimeters.
Yes, 3.7 centimeters. When you use a decimal, you're talking about centimeters. And then 37 millimeters. Okay, notice the relationship between millimeters and centimeters, the decimal point. All right, letter D is all the way over here, right there. What is the measurement of letter D? How many little tiny lines after?
63 millimeters.
63 millimeters, very good. Or
6.3 centimeters.
6.3 centimeters, very good. Okay, do you see how straightforward this one is, right? There's no simplifying, there's no like tricks to it. All the lines are the same size except for the halves and the holes. Okay, letter E, all the way over here, letter E, right there. What is the measurement of letter E?
73 millimeters.
73 millimeters or
7.3 centimeters.
perfect, 73 or 7.3 or 73 millimeters or 7.3 centimeters. All right, awesome. We'll do that. Okay, so in general, metric system is base 10, so you can use decimal form. The other one's not. So let me okay.